Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, go to Brock. Need a roof? Call Parish. A Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, On Fire Athletes, the platform powered by GameCoin. What's up, y'all? My apologies. Would have been here on time. I was sitting here actually early today, but we got news just like as I was about to go, so I had to go get it updated at louisianasports.net. The New Orleans Saints have reworked 3 more contracts and are now within cap compliance. So the Saints are now under the salary cap after restructuring Carl Granderson, Colin Saunders, and I just looked at it. Granderson, Saunders, and Cesar Ruiz. So Saints now under the Eureka! It's magic. We just screw ourselves by getting deeper into debt, but we did it, y'all. We got within cap compliance. All right, so Saints are within cap compliance, and all the while they gave Chase Young a $57 million deal. 3 years, $51 million with escalators that could get him to $57 million. I do like Chase Young. I mean, this is a guy in his mid-20s, still in his physical prime, showed this year he could stay healthy and can affect the passer. I know he only had 5.5 sacks, but he was, I think, second in the NFL in pressures. So he's a guy that got to the quarterback, affected the quarterback. You need an edge, you need edge rushers. Carl Granderson was very disappointing. Cam Jordan's old. Isaiah Foskey's a bust. Chase Young's about the only thing you had going for you. But here's the odd thing, right? So Zach Bond was just a candidate, a finalist for NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Guy you drafted in round 3. Couldn't make it work with him. He goes to Philly. He's a finalist for NFL Defensive Player of the Year. He got a 3-year, $51 million contract. You just signed Chase Young to a 3-year, $51 million contract. So Melissa said 51, not 57. Melissa, it has escalators that can get to 57. So it maxes out at 57. So semantics, call it what you want, but it can get to 57 million is the deal. If you want to go semantics, we can talk every contract about what the guaranteed money is. He's not guaranteed 51. He's guaranteed he's guaranteed 33. So technically it's a $33 million contract because that's all he's guaranteed. He can get to 51 with escalators and get to 57. So call it what you want. But the bottom line is the top end of the contract is 57. The guarantee is 33. But it's just fascinating, man. It's fascinating how they just they just can't get it right, man. They just can't get it right. Let me ask you this. Who would you rather have given this offseason a 3-year, 51, Melissa, $1 million contract to? Chase Young or Zach Bond? But Saints within cap compliance now. All right. Baseball Tigers tonight, home against Xavier. Final pre-conference game Friday. They play Missouri at the box. We look forward to it. Trivia, what up, man? Good morning. Thomas, good morning. Hey, Brett, who dat Tigers, Brian Wynn, Bubba Smith, good morning, y'all. Good morning. Glad to see everybody there. David, good morning. Jesse, thoughts on Young being re-signed? Do you like the move? I like the move very much. Yeah, I mean, the most valuable positions in the NFL: quarterback, those who affect the quarterback. So quarterback, left tackle, and quarterback, those who protect the quarterback, those who affect the quarterback. So quarterback, left tackle, and pass rushers, your most valuable players in the NFL. So you have a guy in Chase Young, who's a former number 2 overall pick. He was defensive rookie of the year, had 2 injury-plagued seasons, needed to prove he could stay healthy, did, still in his mid-20s, in his prime. So yes, I like the deal. I like re-signing Chase Young. I don't think you're close at all to competing. But yeah, I like it. I like the move. Hunter, morning. Was Adebo a good trade? Saints are going to be terrible. They didn't trade Adebo. They didn't trade Paulson Adebo. Paulson Adebo is signing with the Giants as a free agent, so you get nothing for him. Now, there could work out the compensatory pick formula where you lose a free agent and you could get some draft compensation for it. But they didn't trade Paulson Adebo. He signed with the Giants in free agency and got a 3-year, $54 million contract, I think was the deal that I saw reported. It was weird because the first one that came out was 3 years, $30 million. And then it was like 3 years, $34 million is what Schefter reported. And then Nick Underhill reported 3 years, $54 million. So remains to be seen again, it's probably something similar, like what's guaranteed, escalators, top end, options, all that sort of stuff. It's probably just a lot of how you want to phrase it. Just read that one. Bubba, morning. Are all restructuring contracts as team unfriendly as always? Well, there's 2 ways to look at it, Bubba. I mean, you could say it's team unfriendly, but it is team friendly upfront because it gives you the cap relief you need right now. So that is team friendly. From the back end is where you pay for it. Like you don't ever escape the cap charge. Like you can move it, but you can't ever escape it altogether. Like that money is going to count against cap. If you do it once, maybe not as big of a deal, especially as the cap escalates every year, that may not be as big a deal. So for example, if the cap next year goes up $10 million, well, if you restructure a deal to move money this year, like $10 million this year into next year, I'm just using a hypothetical. Well, if the cap goes up $10 million next year, well, then it's a wash, right? But it's how you look at it. I mean, it's friendly on the front end because it gives you the cap relief you need. But it's debt. It's debt. It's financing. It's using a credit card. But you're gonna that bill's coming due eventually, and you're going to pay interest on it. It's going to cost you more down the line. Let's see. I ran a mock yesterday, traded down twice, collected 13 picks in the top 20. That being said, Mickey will probably screw this up. Well, there's no way they're going to get 13 picks in the top 120. I know you're using the laugh face emoji. Loomis never trades back. But keep in mind also, there's no sense in having 13 picks because you're not going to draft 13 players. You're not going to sign 13 players, rookies on your roster. And then you have to pay all 13 players. So that's also not feasible, right? I know that's an outlier, what you're describing there. And I'm not opposed to them trading down if they can get more assets. But just Loomis never does it. Like literally he's never traded down. So why would he start now? Hey, Gunner, good morning. Why do we act like we have endless cash and continue to prolong the time it will take to rebuild the team? I like Young, but come on, commit to getting your books right, please. I want to see how the Chase Young deal is structured. Again, and until we see what the details of the contract are, we don't know it exactly. Because, it could be a thing where, there's 33 guaranteed, and, maybe it's playing time incentives that hit the escalators or production incentives that you never hit, and maybe Like there's no guaranteed money in the final year. Or I don't know how they structured it. So it could be a thing to where it doesn't cripple you financially, and he is a good player. But the 3-year deal, no doubt, tells you that they're thinking that within 3 years they're going to be able to be competitive, which I think is silly. Ransom Antoine, more than hypothetically, what if Rattler beat out Carr in training camp? What happens? Then you have a really expensive backup. You could, I've seen this proposed, you could trade Derek Carr and it'd be a post June 1st designation. Again, I know this is complicated, but if you were to trade him now, post June 1, you would have the dead cap number this year would be 19 million. But next year, your dead cap number would go up to 59 million, which is insane. But it is a doable thing. So like if you traded him now, the dead cap number would be 78 million. Right. But if you traded him post June 1, it would knock down to 59 million would be the dead cap number. Now I don't know how you'd make that work with this cap because you just restructured him to save 30 million and you'd be putting 30, 40, almost 40 million back on your books. So I don't know how it would work. But for the team you'd be trading him to, remember, since you restructured the deal, you take over. So that's all that whoever you trade him to would be responsible for. So it would make sense for someone who needed a quarterback to trade for Derek Carr. For the Saints, depends what you get for him. Probably not worth it. Probably more likely to look at next year. All right. Let's do this thing here. So as to make sure we stay true, Thomas and Dale.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Okay, Parish Construction and Roof. Remember, if you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. They're the best. You need a roof, called Parish Construction Roofing. Oh, the Brock Game Day Ready event is coming back. Y'all might remember we did this last year. Very cool event over at Brock. I love that they do this. This is a totally free event for students ages grades 6 through 12. You can get your free physical at Brock on Saturday, May the 10th. This is in partnership with Our Lady of the Lake. So if you have a student athlete or know someone who does, niece, nephew, grandchild, son, daughter, friend, again, it's the Brock Game Day Prep event, Saturday, May 10th. May 10th, Saturday, May 10th at Brock on Bluebonnet, grades 6 through 12, free physicals that morning. You can get more info, registered brortho.com. Mojo, what position group for the Tigers concerns you most besides the offensive line? Cornerback, probably corner, DBs, let's say corner safety. I think you got Jingle Gate Day 62, making Dale and all the other haters smile. Love it. Get some, Dale. What happened to the Saints over the salary cap for the deadline? You can't be. Like you have like you don't have that option. You have to be within cap compliance. Like it's just not an option. Billy, good morning. Saints kicking the can down the road per the usual. Yes. Eric, man, if this isn't shaping up to be the most irrelevant 8-9 team, I don't know what is. All these signings are so pointless. Seth, good business. Keep digging a deeper hole every year. Brett, they can't sign Paulson Adebo for $30 million, but we can sign Chase Young at $57 million. So, first of all, Brett, I'm not opposed to letting Paulson Adebo walk. And the report from Nick Underhill was that Adebo got $54 million from the Giants. 3 years, $54 million. And so at $18 million per year, I'm not okay with signing Paulson Adebo at $18 million a year. First of all, he was a walking holding penalty. And while he's a young cornerback, you also have Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry, who you've invested draft capital in, that you need to become starters. So Adebo probably goes to New York and becomes an all-pro because we just see that seemingly happen all the time now. But I am okay having fiscal prudence there and not paying Paulson Adebo $54 million. I would rather pay Chase Young than Paulson Adebo. Jason, morning, Uncle Scone from the Denver airport. A couple of days of master haircutting classes heading back to NOLA. All right, man. Safe travels. Jason, if you're a master haircutter, what would you do for me? So much for the market value on Spotrac being worth anything. How about the Adebo deal? Yeah, I think they valued his deal. So, but this is where it's interesting, though. So the Spotrac thing was, and again, that's market value, right? What would the market value be based on comp? And they had him at $11 million per. It was like 2 years, $22 million. The Giants gave him a third year. Now, what's going to be interesting again is structure. So the initial report from Rappaport was 3 years, $30 million. Then Schefter reported 3 years, $34 million. And then Nick Underhill said 3 years, $54 million. So where's the accounting work? Like, I want to see how they structure it. Hey, Thomas, hope Schmitty starts tonight. Yeah, we'll see. My guess is it's going to be Connor Ware. Again, don't know. Guess is Connor Ware. I wouldn't be surprised if they both threw tonight. Remember, so 2 weeks ago against Omaha, used 13 pitchers. Last week in Frisco, used 15 pitchers. This past weekend, used 9 over 3 games. So, like we've talked about, they're paring down their rotation, who they're going to give the ball to. So in midweek games now, you got to get guys work. So I wouldn't be, since neither Ware or Schmidt pitched this weekend, I wouldn't be surprised if you saw both of them pitch tonight. Probably Ware start, maybe Schmidt at some point out of the bullpen. Hey, Hunter, good morning. Hey, Dad, good morning. Richie Brumfield, what do you think the Saints are going to do about cornerback? Well, again, you got Alontae Taylor and Kool-Aid McKinstry. So in theory, you got your 2 boundary corners. You need help at slot cornerback. You could certainly sign a nickel in free agency, or you could draft one, which is probably what they're going to do. It's somewhere in this draft is take a cornerback. And remember, you made it through last year without Adebo for a bulk of the season. I think Adebo got hurt in the 8th game, so you played half the season without him. Brant, still feeling confident now about catcher heading into. Are you feeling more confident? I feel like you've stabilized the position with Luis Hernandez. I still don't think you're good there. I think it's easily the weakest position on your team, but better today than I did game 1. Mr. Wallace, morning, Matt. Is the roast still edible? It was a pot lid, sir. It was not a bowl. No, I took care. So because if you missed it yesterday, so Erica's leaving for work and she's like, "Hey, there's a pot lid on the floor next to the table. I got a roach under there. It was crawling across the floor last night, so I just got a pot lid. I just put it on. It's the biggest roach I've ever seen. First of all, it was like that big. It was not the biggest roach you've ever seen. Anyway, but I'll be darned. You would have thought maybe it might have suffocated being under the pot lid, maybe the no air, but apparently it was air because he was still kicking whenever I lifted that pot lid. But he did get a burial at sea. Brant, why not get Milazzo to come and teach him how to block balls? Well, in theory, man, wouldn't you hope that your coaches can handle that? Not, you got coaches on the team. Like, at this level, you should know. But I don't disagree with you. Completely. Here, fun, say odd. Got them all. Go with 745 Dale. Looking forward to enjoying time in Omaha this summer. So, do y'all remember? Okay, last thing I got to go. Remember, I told you 2 years ago, I got a call from a scout buddy who, it was the first day of practice for LSU baseball. And it was about 8 o'clock at night. He called me, and I knew he was leaving the box. And so he called me. I picked up the phone. I was like, hey, so we win the national championship? He goes, yup. It's the best collection of college talent I've seen on the field, on a college baseball field. And ultimately, they did. Well, he called me yesterday. And he said, well, I spent this weekend in Knoxville. I was like, oh, no. He said they got 5 guys that throw 100. That it's insane. The arms are insane. It's just different. I was like, God, dog. That's baseball, and funny things can happen in baseball, but I think Tennessee is going to be a tough one to beat this year. All right, let's get out of here, y'all. I got to go. Please smash the like button if you would, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. All of our sponsors are linked in the description on YouTube. They're tagged on Facebook. Thank y'all so much for being here with us. Now go please check out Locked on LSU on YouTube or your favorite podcast app, and then we'll see y'all for AFR 3. Have an awesome day.